What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we need to have a little bit of a look at a new game coming from Fantasy Flight Games, and I am absolutely delighted. But because I like new games. Oh, and I like Marvel. Marvel's pretty gosh darn cool. It turns out that we're getting ourselves some Marvel here as well. So we got Marvel, which is awesome. And we've got ourselves a new Fantasy Flight Games game, and I'm quite a fan of that company, I don't mind telling you. So let's go and have a little bit of a look at Marvel D.A.G.G.E.R. Now, in terms of when it's actually going, I don't believe we have a release date yet. It is listed on the FFG website for $90, but I'm not seeing a release date. If I'm being dumb, let me know, ladies and gentlemen, but I'm not hearing it yet. So here's the official description. Earth is in danger. Nefarious forces threaten the world as we know it, and it's up to a small group of heroes to come to the rescue. With the enemy's minions closing in and innocents in peril, our heroes will need to work together to stop the villain's plans and save the world. But will they be able to save it in time? In Marvel D.A.G.G.E.R, 1 to 5 players will work together to challenge the forces of evil. Play as iconic heroes like Spider-Man, Daredevil and Black Widow, and race across the globe to complete missions, battle enemies, and square off for the final showdown against the Nemesis. Choose the best aspect for your hero, pull off awesome combos, and wait for the perfect moment to unleash your ultimate ability. Team up with your allies and take on dangerous threats as you become the greatest heroes in the world. Now, there are some heroes we're not gonna, see in the video as we're talking here, but look at the front of the box. You got Hulk and She-Hulk, you've got Black Panther, Doctor Strange, Iron Man, Captain Marvel, we've got Falcon and Thor, and we got a whole bunch up there as well. So War Machine's there. So my point is, you can look at the front of the box and you can basically tell a bunch of other characters that are coming, and that's pretty important. So we've got 1 to 5 players, and we've got, 1 of 20 heroes, except it's not really 1 of 20 heroes. You see, one of the important things about the heroes is that they are paired up. And it doesn't explicitly say it in the article, but basically you choose one of them. So, for instance, Black Widow, Natasha Romanoff, or Black Widow, Yelena Belova, but you can't have both of them. Daredevil or Elektra. Peter Parker Spider-Man or Miles Morales Spider-Man, because they come on double-sided cards, and there are ways they work. We'll get to that in a second. Also worth pointing out that the characters are clearly cardboard standees rather than models. We don't know enough about the game and exactly what it includes to make a real big judgment here, but it's $90 and you get yourself cardboard standees of the characters. But then again, if it came with the 20 models, that would be significantly more expensive. I personally am absolutely okay with this. So it seems to be that it's very much built around teaming up. So D.A.G.G.E.R stands for Defense Alliance for Global and Galactic Emergency Response. And basically, you're using teamwork here. There is a team up track, which is lovely. And there's 2 types of combo tokens, empowered tokens and primed tokens. Now, empowered are for heroes and primed are for enemies. So when a hero becomes empowered, they basically get an empowered token, and they can use that, they can discard it, to add 1 success to an attribute test that they perform, which seems to be the way we judge success and failure for certain actions. Whereas when an enemy is primed, you can remove a prime token from them to add a success to your attack result, which of course means you're going to be doing a little bit more damage. So it's basically about building up and using these empowered and prime tokens and getting some combos rolling. Sounds good. But there's also combo abilities. Now, in order to use a combo ability, you've got to have an empowered token on your hero or a primed token on the enemy. And then as you do this, you advance up the team up track. And this obviously is used to pay for team up abilities, which, look, I'm just telling you that we're rolling here, teaming up. Obviously, the team up abilities are going to be pretty gosh darn strong. So, if we have a look at a couple of the characters here, we've got Black Widow and Natasha Romanoff here, and it allows a hero to move free. This is good. Or we can perform your fight action against a primed enemy, add a success, and then prime that enemy. Again, you want primed enemies and you want to prime them up. This is good. And Shield Agent, after a mission is completed, you and another hero may charge too. This is good. We're getting up those tokens. We're happy. But if instead you've gone for Yelena Belova, then we've got when you resolve a dagger effect, you may resolve the effect of any operational base. Obviously, this involves a lot of stuff we haven't seen yet, but there are operational bases with effects that you get to use. It's ambush, perform your fight action using DFI instead of attack. And that's higher on Black Widow than it is, so, the attack is, so that's good. Roll 2 additional dice if you're in a space that contains a mission token or the Nemesis. And then counter-attack after a primed enemy attacks you. Deal damage equal to its power to that enemy or another enemy in its space. Now, this is something they don't go into great detail about in the article, but like one of the first images I showed you, we saw some dice there, so we know there's going to be some dice. And then, of course, we've got Daredevil and Elektra. Again, they are paired characters, but you'll notice that Daredevil's got a bit less health, but a bit more attack. Whereas Elektra's got a bit more DFI, which I'm assuming is defense, but it could not be. But we have different skills going on there. And then we've got Peter Parker and Miles Morales. They are, again, the same kind of Spider-Man character. They're on a double-sided card, but you'll notice the attack and DFI stats flop around, and you've got different skills rolling on there. They are not exactly the same. But then we've got support cards, and these are kind of shared between the characters and kind of not. So whether you're playing as Peter Parker or Miles Morales, you are going to start the game with Spider Sense, lets you exhaust this card to look at the top card of the event deck, i.e. let you see what's coming. Sounds like Spider Sense to me. And Web Shooter, that lets you exhaust this card to perform your move action without spending an aspect token and increase the move value by 1. Which, again, sounds exactly like what a web shooter would do. Again, we don't have the full rules, and for that I apologise right now, but you can see here that move is one of the actions that you can do, and there's an aspect token that needs to be spent, normally, to do so. But then you get specific supports. So Aunt May is only used for Peter Parker, because Miles doesn't have an Aunt May, whereas the Champions is only for Miles Morales, because he's a champion, but Peter isn't. And that's pretty gosh darned important. Now, we do also have special cards like Into the Multiverse. Now, these are team-up abilities, special cards, and basically, when you've got enough charges from the team-up track, you can flip it to its active side. I'm going to go ahead and take a wild swing that that's the coloured one. Oh yeah, because it literally says spend 5 team-up to ready this card by flipping it to the other side. And then Into the Multiverse is shared between Peter Parker and Miles Morales, because obviously part of the whole Spider-Man deal is the Spider-Verse and the web and all fun things like that. Also, if you haven't read Spider-Verse, go and read Spider-Verse. It's absolutely fantastic. But as well as picking a hero, you also get to pick an aspect. So they've given us 2 examples here. They've shown us aggression and determination. And I don't think anyone's going to be surprised to learn that aggression lets you deal a bit more damage, but it also strengthens your fight actions. Well, yeah, it's aggression, obviously. So if you want to be running around fighting a lot, aggression is going to be where you go. Whereas determination is described as focusing on succeeding in the face of overwhelming odds, but you get to move a bit more. And you get to roll an additional die while fighting. And during Defy, it's Defy apparently, not Defense, my apologies, but I'm assuming it still is basically the same kind of deal. You get to roll an additional die. And then you've got adding a success for rest. And you can recover and charge and all of that good stuff. There are other aspects, incidentally. There are 6 in total. We've only seen the 2. Now, I've mentioned Nemesis before. There are 4 Nemesis in the game. We've only been shown Loki so far. Loki's the only one we've got, but there are 3 others. And essentially, you're going around the board, the globe, solving crises, missions, and the Nemesis is going to be traveling around trying to cause them. You can attack the Nemesis whenever you like, but you cannot actually win until the final showdown. So basically what you're trying to do is slow them down. That's quite important. And we're told that the Nemesis are going to play a little bit differently. So Loki, for instance, got Illusionary Foe, which is their signature minion, but there's going to be other signature minions for other Nemesis. But they can team up with different groups. So clearly, from a thematic standpoint, Loki teaming up with the Frost Giants, that worked perfectly well. But Loki could also team up with Hydra soldiers instead, if that's the kind of thing you're into. Now, as you go through the game, there's basically going to be 3 Nemesis missions, and then that will take you into the final showdown, and that's where you can actually win. We don't have full information here, but I like FFG, they make good games. I like Marvel. We've got a new Marvel FFG game coming on. I mean, come on, ladies and gentlemen. I cannot be the only one that's a little bit excited by this. But I've told you everything I know, and now I want to hear from you guys. How excited are you by this? How much do you want to be playing this? Go nuts in the comment section, but be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk about a whole bunch of card games and other games, including this. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCGradio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord, have some fun. It's lovely. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wasi Plays.